All right, mathletes. So here we are with another special guest. I got Stefan here, and I want to remind you these folks that I'm bringing to you. Um, I'm always trying to kind of look for people's gifts and things they're doing extremely well. In our stats class, we talk about outliers, and that's why I feel I try to impress people to live like an outlier. So you're not like the average person, right? Because I want you guys doing things that are very important to you and to like your families and your loved ones to put you on the better end of things. And so I bring people to kind of talk to you so you could kind of get a peek of their lives, relate to them, and take something from this. So I'm very thankful that Stefan stopped by because I see him doing all these things. And I'm always, wanting to learn more because it's my job too to always learn from you guys, or else I would be a fool to think that I knew it all. And so, thank you, sir. And
No problem.
so, let's start off with, maybe your journey here. Like, why did you come to Heart now? What's the game plan? And you could go as, you decide where you want to go with this.
For me, I just felt like it was time to challenge myself, really. Like, you know, I work a lot, and then I was going to school, and then I figured, hey, let me take some time to myself, relax a little bit. But then I felt like I was becoming complacent. I wasn't being mentally challenged. So, sign back up, work full time, take a full load. It's definitely challenging. Definitely challenging. I can tell you that. But no, I enjoy it. Um, the overall goal for me, it was originally I want to do something with like sports therapy, but now that I'm diving into it, taking different courses, I might have to rework that and figure out what I actually want to do because, yeah, I don't believe sports therapy is where I ultimately want to end up at.
Hey, that's awesome because I just look at my own journey and I thought I was gonna, head in a certain direction too. But the more we learn about ourselves, we're like, oh dang, we're pretty capable. It's pretty amazing what we're capable of. And we always get to learn more about ourselves till, the day we die.
Yeah,
And so that's awesome that you've been noticing. And I noticed like kind of when I think of this guy, I'm like, oh man, like I really do think the sky's the limit because the intellectual thinking and the persistence. So notice he says about complacency. You can't. Here's what happens. I don't care what age you are. You could go into like retirement, but then people start to die fast after retirement because we become complacent and then they have nothing to look forward to. So notice the mindset here is he's enjoying this process. He's enjoying the challenges. It's such an opportunity to be challenged, right? Because when you overcome those challenges, that's the only time you're really going to get to grow. And it's scary because not everyone usually runs away from those challenges. Do you ever feel that way? Like the kind of scary moments or the.
yeah. Like I used to when being younger, I used to like right now, I feel like oh, it's so hard. I'm overwhelmed. You run through all those emotions, but the better and better you get at, navigating challenges, you just realize I call it like growing pains. It's the pain of you growing. That's all. You're leveling up. That's all you're doing. You're gonna get stronger, faster, sharper, and yeah, while you're in it, it does suck. It does. But once you look back on it, like man, I look back on it and compared to what I do now, that wasn't that hard. But it's just the growing. You just gotta grow.
Man, I wish more people would talk about that because there's the moments where he said it perfectly. There's moments where it sucks. And like school was one of the hardest things, me personally, that I went through, but it was the greatest thing because it was so like emotionally draining and mentally. I would think, oh man, I'm never gonna be able to do this. But when you grind it out, what he's talking about later on, when you learn more about how your brain works and everything else, you see you're preparing yourself for bigger and greater challenges, and you're actually becoming smarter because you're learning how to problem solve at a more efficiently, effectively, and it's just it really is nuts how you don't think the same when you come out, and that's the point of school is for you to challenge yourself. And I tell my students, hey, don't just do the homework, because if you're doing the homework, that you're kind of just going through the motions. And that's the trap with school, is you're supposed to be here and challenging yourself, because no one else is going to do it for you, so that you learn to think like no one else. Um, and no one wants to go through that. It's kind of like the gym, right? You're gonna get some results. You got to put yourself through pain, because I see people there. I promise you, 4 a.m. every day. They haven't changed since day one. So if you're gonna be here, put the work into it to get something out of it. And I love too how he said about our emotions. Do not let your emotions lie to you. You're gonna be a huge critic, and you're gonna get all kinds of garbage that comes into your brain, and you can't believe those lies, because you're going to self-doubt, you're going to do all these things, right? That's normal tendency, and you got to put that away, and surround yourself. That's why I say surround yourself by people who are doing stuff, because you're going to see, oh, you know what, I could do this. And like the students I see, like this guy, man, already doing so much, and it's crazy. So let's talk about your organization, because I talked to him a lot, and I know he's got all kinds of things happening. And so, how does that work, your organization? Like,
So for my organization, I'm usually thinking ahead, believe it or not. Like I have to. Okay, so let's start with the beginning of the week for me is on a Sunday. So on my off days, those are my days, which is Friday and Saturday. I'm catching up on homework. I'm trying to get ahead as far as possible. Yes, I would like to relax. Yes, I would like to go to the movies and do these wonderful things. But there's a time and a place for everything. Now is the time that I need to invest in myself. So it's a time to work and it's a time to play. This is the time to work. I know that in my mind mentally. So for 6 months, there is no play. You just put in work. That's all you're doing. And again, you gotta mentally tell yourself like, hey, you're doing it for a reason, and just remind yourself. It's kind of like he said with working out. Um, I'll hop on that. He can work out, and let's say he hits, I don't know, 10 reps of bench press, right? I do the same weight, but if he turns away, which is I'm gonna look at him as life, and no one is watching me, and I only do 6, am I gonna get the same results? No, I'm not. Why? Because I cheated myself, and I'm trying to take the quick way to get to the goal, but I'm not going through the proper steps. So proper steps, hey, just put in that work. Organizational wise, time, I usually start off, I make all my meals the day prior. Hey, make sure I got all my meals already made. So that doesn't slow me down in the morning time. I get my clothes out the day before. All my school stuff and material that I need, I make sure to check, make sure everything is charged, ready to go for the day before, pack it up, just set it by the door. So there's not me, when I wake up, all I have to do is hop in the shower, brush my teeth, wash my face, and then my clothes is already laid out, throw my clothes on, go downstairs, my breakfast is already done, my bag is already ready, get in the car. Always make sure to keep your car filled with at least half a tank, so you don't have to run late, or I'm gonna go get gas in the morning. It never pans out well. Always expect for accidents, before going to school. Just because you're thinking, hey, I'm gonna be on time, but these things do occur. So give yourself enough time. So if something, I don't know if it is an accident, you give yourself a buffer, 20-30 minutes. So instead of leaving right on time, hey, it takes me 30 minutes to get to school, so I'm gonna take off an hour just in case it's an accident. And now I actually made it to school on time, didn't miss any of the material, because missing some of that material, that can throw you far behind. So that's just how I do things.
damn, you guys need to be paying this man, because this is, I honestly feel like I'm listening to my dad here, because my dad didn't have a formal education, but he had a better education because it came through 21 years in the army, and he would be telling me all these things, because that organization, things are gonna happen in life that you're not gonna expect, that you're not gonna see. And the better prepared you are, the better you're going to handle those situations. And so thinking ahead, everything that he described, and I saw it before he, like months and months before he came into my class, he was asking me all these questions, and I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to be on my top of my game because this guy's coming. Like he's coming. What's crazy is that his preparation helped me prepare because then I had to get my stuff ready, right? And all of a sudden, when week 5 came, I was already ready months ago because his questions kind of prepared me for that moment. So not only are you gonna be propelled and not stressed and all these other things, you're gonna be able to enjoy so much and be focused on the true mission. Because just that gas example, right? You should hear how many excuses I get from people, right? I could write a whole book of all the excuses. And ultimately, what those excuses are is people not being prepared. And that's a maturity level. So these things, if you actually write them down, right, the mindset of what he's doing is how to prepare yourself. That's the game changer. That's what's gonna help people not quit. That's what's gonna help you make it to the finish line. All right. So please, rewind that. Write those so many things down, and that goes to the next. I'm gonna switch things up. I want to talk about discipline because obviously you have that. How does that come into play? How did you kind of get there? Where that come from?
Discipline for me, that was hard. I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, me personally, I got disciplined when I was younger. If you didn't know, I did serve in United States Marine Corps. Was young when I first went in, and I thought, as kids do, but then all these lessons, man, I got taught a lot of lessons about how to manage time, um, learning not only about physically, making sure you're in shape physically, but mentally. Mental is where people make all these excuses, and that is where complacency comes. Because again, if you can get your mental strong, your body should not tell you what to do. Your mind tells your body what to do. So you just got to understand these things, and um, I would say definitely whatever you think you can do. I understand it's scary. I understand it's hard to start, but just start. As long I don't care if you made a half a step today, don't stop. Make it half a step tomorrow, and then before you know it, at the end of the week, look back and see how far you came. You started. Now you just got to finish. That's all. And you are not in competition with that person that just naturally gifted. That's cool. They're naturally gifted. You, my friend, have to work on. You got hard work behind you. You're putting in that time. You'll catch up at your own pace. Don't worry about anybody else. The only competition is you. You wake up, you look yourself in the face, and just remember, okay, what goals did I set? Okay, and make sure you break it down by week. Hey, am I hitting these goals? And if you see yourself falling behind, okay, you got to give up some of your free time. I have to give up some of this free time that I wanted to go to the movies. I wanted to go, sip on some Starbucks and read a book because I feel like I owe myself that. But looking at my schedule, no, I'm falling behind. And again, I'm accountable to myself. Yes, we have these wonderful instructors, but they can only do so much. The rest of it, we have to do. So, you know what? Challenge is accepted. You know what? I'm going to take the responsibility of knowing that I'm falling behind, and no one needs to tell me I have to catch up because I know myself. So, hey, let me catch up. And not only am I going to catch up while I'm doing it, I might as well get ahead because I do not want to fall back in to this area.
Oh man, so many things. I gotta rewatch that to myself because so one of the biggest mistakes that I made as in my younger time is that resonated was comparing myself to other people, and we're not other people. So that's huge because once you get in that world of comparing, and that's what all this does. There's a difference between learning and comparing. So like this that I'm putting out there is for us to learn, not to compare, but to learn from wise people, from wisdom. And so when I compared myself, too young, I bought that brand new car. Too young, I got into that a house that was way too much money, right? That got me stressed out. When I compared, I did all these things to satisfy other people, right? What do you think of me now? And that's the worst thing you could ever do, and that's the thing that our culture teaches us to do. And so I love statistics because when you look at what's going on behind the scenes, man, behind the scenes is scary because that person driving that Mercedes, I bet you they're broke as a joke.
Yeah.
And because I've talked to, again, tens of thousands of people, and it's just amazing the decisions that we get ourselves into. And so I got tired, me personally, of trying to, put myself on this platform so I look a certain way. And I was like, man, how do I want to live behind the scenes? And do I want to live a peaceful, enjoyable life? And so these things that he just hit the nail on the head, it just like resonated for me. So I think here at the college, if I did a honest poll, right, there's so many people pretending. And so no, don't pretend. You ask the question because you don't know the answer. So you ask. Don't sit there because no one else is like not asking their question. You get in there and boom, hey, you know what, can you explain that a little further? You're responsible for your learning. No one else is gonna be responsible for you. And what we do as a society is we play this blame game. And I've done it where like, oh, poor me. And what that did is that limited me because I started thinking that I wasn't, good enough for all these things because I limited myself because poor Johnny. And once I broke that, I was like, oh, damn, like I'm actually capable, but I got to put the work in, right? Then the ceiling's the limit. I get to do wonderful things because now, I put myself in uncomfortable positions, right? And so now, like I shared the class, I get to work with people around the world that are doing like the top of their game. And I don't have to go and announce it to like all these other folks because I was like, I'm doing me. Like, that's it. So let's talk about, let's end with this, because again, this is some gold. What tips do you have for some of these guys listening?
The tips I would definitely give out. I wish somebody would have told me when I was younger. I guess just step outside of your comfort zone. Like step out of that comfort zone. Again, people are people. All you got to do is smile. Hey, good morning. How are you doing? And some people they're not used to it, but again, as long as you continue to chip away at it, then they'll be like, hey, you know what? This person's okay. They always tell me hello. They know who I am. Hey, what's going on? It's kind of like an icebreaker. Other tips, like you said, you pay for this course. Me personally, I'm not paying all this money and not gonna ask the questions I need to know because I've done it before, right? Where you sit in class, you don't ask any questions, and then math is like you're building like a foundation, right? Well, guess what? If you miss out on sections 3 through 5, how are you going to continue on to get to the second foundation and the third? You can't because the basics, you needed to understand those basics. And because I failed to understand them, here I am again. I got to go back and I got to go over it again. You can do it now or you can do it later. It's really your choice. It is your choice. And again, like you said, accountability. It's because the teacher. No. Once I looked at it, I made a choice. I made a choice not to speak up because I was worried about other people and, why are you always asking questions? And why are you, hey, I got out of my comfort zone, start asking those tough questions. So that's my tip. Just do that. Show up and you can definitely tell who understands the material. Like you can definitely, you can see it in class. You know who your strongest individuals are. Walk up to them. Hey, can I ask you a question? When do you have some free time? When do you usually show up to go over things? Is it a way that we can get together? I'm kind of struggling in these areas. Do you think you can help me? Because again, I might go ask somebody who's very strong in one area, and then just things I like to do in my off time. I like rebuilding engines. Hey, I got a bike and I was gonna take it to the shop. What? Come to my house. I can show you how to rebuild that engine. What? I would have never knew. You would have never knew until you talked to me. So again, just by knowing people, I'm trying to tell you, will get you places you never imagined. So go out and talk to people. You know, it's I know it's the age of phones, but set your phone down, meet a friend, and shake a hand. That's all.
And I'm gonna have to put his Venmo here because seriously, this stuff. I wish people would put this stuff into action because this is the stuff that works. This is the stuff we're made. The way we're built is to interact with one another. The way we're headed is to be isolated. And so when we look at the numbers, so many bad things are happening because of this isolation. And so these things, if you really want to help yourself, man, learn to identify other people's gifts. And so when you're like, hey, that guy knows what's going on in this class, that's what helped me after I got kicked out of school, out of San Jose State, when I had to make my comeback. I started surrounding myself with the smartest people in those areas. And then in life, when it was time to buy a house, when it was time to invest, when it was time to whatever I wanted to do, become a better husband, when it was time to do everything that I wanted to do, I would surround myself with people that I saw were the best in those areas. And I learned from them. And then, same way, I love giving. And I was like, hey guys, I offer this too. And people want to hang around me. And we get to benefit from all each other's gifts.
Yeah.
And there's so many things I don't have to pay for that other people spend, thousands of dollars for. I was just telling these guys, a car was given to me, to my son, because, I guess I helped that person. And as a, turnaround thing, good things happen, amazing things happen. You become part of meetings you had no idea how you got there because of the people that you know. All right. So thank you, my man, for your time. And I really hope you guys appreciate his time that he offered and this advice because it is priceless. I know I'm going to be sharing this with my family because I want them to not live a life where they have to struggle, but they choose to struggle to get better, if that makes sense. All right. Peace out, guys.
All right. Have a good one, guys.